I didn't think hearing your sister have sex through a wall could turn into something that destroys your relationship with her. But I also didn't expect to be told I should be ashamed of my own body in my own home. And the worst part, it didn't start with screaming. It started with a knock. I'm 21, my sister is 23. We've always been functional. Not close, not distant, just existing in the same space without stepping on each other's lives too much. Until my boyfriend came into the picture. She didn't like him from the start. Before we even started dating, she said things like, "He's going to use you. He doesn't look like the type who stays." I brushed it off. Because people say things when they don't understand your choices. And I chose him. When we moved into a new place together with our mom, everything seemed normal at first. Until we realized something important. The walls were thin. Like really thin. At first I was careful, or at least I thought I was. My boyfriend would come over, we'd go straight to my room, door closed, lights low. We weren't loud, we weren't reckless. We weren't trying to make a statement. We were just together. And for a while, no one said anything. So I assumed everything was fine. That assumption was my first mistake. The first time it happened, I didn't even process it. A loud bang on my door. Sharp, sudden, aggressive. Right in the middle of something intimate. My entire body froze. My boyfriend pulled away immediately, both of us just staring at the door like it had personally betrayed us. No words, just that knock. Heavy, intentional. Humiliating. Later that day, I found out she told my mom. Which felt unnecessary. I'm an adult. My mom didn't care. She literally shrugged it off. So I thought, okay, weird reaction, but maybe it's done. It wasn't. The next day she told me to be quieter. And honestly, that part was fair. So I said okay. And I meant it. I made an effort. Lower voices, less movement, being aware. Because I'm not inconsiderate. I didn't want conflict. But then, it didn't stop. She brought it up again. And again. You're quieter, but I can still hear it. Each time she said it, something about the tone felt off. Not just annoyed. Focused. Like she wasn't just hearing it. She was listening for it. Then something happened that made everything feel wrong. One night I was alone. Door closed, lights off, just lying in bed watching YouTube. Completely normal. The next day, she tells me to be quieter during sex. I just stared at her. Because what? There was no sex. No boyfriend. Nothing. That's when I started feeling watched. Not physically, but mentally. Like no matter what I did, she had already decided what I was doing. Then came the moment I shouldn't have done. My boyfriend was over. He was just giving me a leg massage. Nothing more. And I jokingly said, a little louder than normal, "This feels so good." We both laughed. And I remember saying, "She's probably going to think something's happening." We thought it was funny. Harmless. A joke. It wasn't. The next day she confronted me. Accused me of lying. Told me she knew what she heard. And when I said nothing happened, she looked at me like I was manipulating reality. That's when something shifted. Because now it didn't matter what was real. She had already decided her version. After that, I stopped completely. No intimacy at home. No risk. No misunderstanding. I thought removing the problem would fix things. It didn't. The day before everything exploded, she had a huge fight with our mom. Screaming. Doors slamming. Tension thick enough to choke on. And in the middle of it, she said something that stuck in my chest. Something that had nothing to do with the argument. I'm not like her, I don't have boys over and have sex. Silence. Just silence after that. Because that wasn't about noise. That wasn't about walls. That was about me. The next day my boyfriend came over. And I was careful. Extra careful. We didn't touch. Didn't joke. Didn't even sit close. We were just on my bed. Watching TikToks. Quiet. Normal. Safe. And then, bang, bang, bang. My heart dropped. Not again. She was outside my door. Yelling. Loud, angry, uncontrolled. No one wants to hear that. I opened the door immediately. Because this time, I knew. I knew for a fact. We weren't doing anything. What are you talking about? I said. We're literally just sitting here. She didn't hesitate. You're lying. Something inside me snapped. Not loudly. Not dramatically. But quietly. Like a thread finally giving up. No, I'm not. And that's when she went in. Not about noise. Not about walls. But about me. The noises you make are weird. You're doing too much. You're just trying to stroke his ego. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed. Each word felt like it landed somewhere deeper than the last. Not because of what she said, but because of how easily she said it. Like she had been holding it in. Waiting. Collecting evidence in her head. Building a version of me that I didn't recognize. And then she said something that made everything worse. He's not even attractive. I just stood there. Because now it wasn't about sound. It wasn't about respect. It wasn't about shared space. It was personal. You're doing all of this for him, she said, almost laughing. That was the moment. The exact moment. Where I realized. This wasn't discomfort. This wasn't annoyance. This was judgment. You're slut-shaming me, I said. And she immediately fired back. No, I'm not, I would know if I was. We haven't been the same since. Not because of one argument. But because of what it revealed. I started replaying everything. Every comment. Every look. Every "you're still too loud." Every assumption. And I realized something uncomfortable. It was never just about hearing me. It was about how she sees me. And maybe that never changed. I just didn't notice it before. I understand being uncomfortable. I understand thin walls. I understand wanting peace in your own home. But I don't understand turning that into humiliation, comparison, moral superiority. I stopped doing anything at home. Completely. Not for her. But because now, the space doesn't feel like mine anymore. And the weirdest part, even in silence, I still feel like I'm being heard. So now I'm stuck with one question. Not about who's right. Not about who's wrong. But about something much simpler. Did she just want quiet? Or did she want me to feel small? Because those are two very different things. And only one of them sounds like a knock on the door. The other sounds like everything she said after.